Tired of going down, tired of myself, tired of this town.
Yeah, Freestyle Friday number 17. My name is E-Double, his name is Tom Petty, and here we go. Small pond, big pond, the fish are the only difference. City out of harmony, lingering on the dissonance. Fishermen wrapping up citizens with their fishing nets. Sometimes chemical, some Plato imprisonment. Dissidents laughing at themselves as if they had a voice. Acting like technology really gives them a better choice. Protect the borders as we stack up our elitism. Defeatism is what we pretend that we keep believing in. I'm straddling both lines, the quietest revolt. Politicians fake like they caring that we vote. Legalese verbose, cause if it's plain English, then it's ADD riddle, and riddle children might get it. And if they do, then you're fucked. When they know what's up, you might start seeing public servants dressed as little punks. No tie, no suit, they just looking for some truth.
Well, good Friday morning. I know, AWOL for a while. No excuses other than just briefly to tell you that most of you guys know, use your old hats, around this community. I've got rheumatoid arthritis, and I had a major flare, probably one of the worst flare-ups I've ever had since I was diagnosed with this mess. Started this past weekend, and it had me so wiped out that I spent the first part of this week completely, totally knocked out. That's basically all I did was sleep for like 18 to 20 hours of a day. I was just done. So that's kind of where I've been. It's kind of what I've been doing. Is kind of, just recuperating from that. But I woke up particularly early this morning, and I don't have a whole lot to go and talk about this morning. I don't have there's lots of stuff out there. We could talk about iDubbbz and Ethan, and we could talk about Asmongold and Tactone and Hassan. But, maybe it's just me, but I feel like that stuff is being talked to death. There's plenty of other people out there that are talking about that. There's plenty of other streamers, creators, that are doing all that, and Godspeed to them. I just, listen, Ian is a joke. My personal opinion is that I feel like when he and Anissa got together, he basically turned the reins over to her. You can call it, she's got his balls in her pocketbook or whatever it is that you want to call it. But I believe that's essentially what's going on. I don't believe he has an original thought. I don't believe he takes a step, doesn't make a move unless she tells him to do so. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. He is truly probably one of the worst henpecked men I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, enough of that. Hassan is always and will always be a loser. I don't care how successful he is as a streamer. I don't care if he's got a $3 million mansion in Hollywood. He's a loser. He will always be a loser because, well, money doesn't make a man or a woman or anybody else. That's not what makes you to be a winner, period. Who else? I guess that's enough. There you go. There's the recap. Period. So we got word this week that we had that there was a person in the community that passed away. Now I'm not going to go on and you know because I didn't, to my knowledge, I and to my memory, I don't remember ever having any direct interactions with Bad Dog. I know that he was in and around a lot of people's communities. Um, Badwick, um, I think maybe K Hux a little bit. Uh, other people like that. Burn the World, Flatley, guys like that, and I know that he was quite dear to them. Um, some of the people that I hang out with on a regular basis that knew him, Leona Taylor, Seth, um, had nothing but positive things to say about the guy. And I hate that a mother has lost her son, 23 years old, way, way, way too young. It's a very short life. And so I send my utmost condolences to this family, to his friends that are mourning the void and the emptiness that he has left in their lives. Um, I don't know if any of you guys, people who will come watch the video later on, people who are watching live now, if you haven't donated and you've got a couple extra bucks laying around, and you could donate, I would encourage you to do so. I've pinned the link to the GoFundMe that is set up. Their goal is $15,000 Australian. They're they've got a really good start on this. They're at $8,380 Australian. So they're still missing about 60 was it $6,700 something like that. So like I said, if you've got any extra money laying around, I know times are tough. Um, Times are tough, and everybody's cost to survive is going up, and but if you like I say, if you got a little extra money, and it won't put you out of put you in a bad scrape or nothing, consider giving some money to Bad Dog's family, to help them lay him to rest. It's like I said, it's anytime anyone loses a family member, it's rough. But when they were as young as he was, it's doubly devastating. And so anyway, again, my thoughts and condolences goes out to that family, to the friends of Bad Dog, and I hope that you guys can look back at. I've seen people on Twitter talking and about some of the funny antics. It seems like the dude was a troll, and a harmless one, not one that necessarily caused havoc and mayhem. And and they've been remembering some of his highlights and stuff, and that's good. And that's a good healthy way to deal with losses, to remember the good times that you had with that person. So again, though, I do send my condolences to the, like I say, the friends and family of Bad Dogs, and I hope that you know um, you guys find some solace and consolation with each other, and sharing those stories. Um, One little story that I have this morning. Back on the, let's see, when was this? The 27th, I think it was. So it's been a little bit. It's been a little bit ago that this happened, but this is a guy this family I've been following. Good Lord, I don't know, years and years. I couldn't tell you how long. Um, they had a TV show on called Chrisley Knows Best. And of course, I'm talking about Todd and Julie Chrisley. They had a TV show on USA Network for years. It's one of those reality, semi overly produced, possibly scripted a little bit, family. But I don't know. There was just something that I found just entertaining about it. Todd Chrisley, the patriarch of the Chrisley family, is a very excuse me, flamboyant metrosexual dude. Um, very prim, very proper. Just quite honestly, the first couple of times I seen the show back in the day, I thought the dude was gay. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Happy Pride Month and all that, but no, I just thought the guy was gay. And it turns out, no, he was just an old school metrosexual dude. So, anyway, oh, you're here now? Well, great, Gigi. I can start the show because I was waiting on just you to show up. Aren't you blessed? Um, you need more than a 5-minute warning, sir? Well, let me tell you something, Miss Gigi Hearts. Um, Here's the problem with that. If you roll with Peepaw, you got to be ready to go at any time at a moment's notice, period. That's just the way it is. You got to be able to, you just got to be able to do that. I'm sorry. And if you can't do that, then bless your heart, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, back to my story before Gigi came in here and started trying to, you know, take over like she always does, because it's always got to be about Gigi. Gigi this and Gigi that. And why is Gigi getting hate? Why is Gigi getting hate? Why does people hate Gigi? Because your palate cleansers suck, and you always come in too late. That's why. Guy who refuses to go to the golf club. Do I look like I'm goth? No. And just because they play music from my era doesn't make me want to go. That's just, forget it, whatever. But anyway, Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley was sentenced for tax evasion and bank fraud back in, when was it? 2022. And Todd was given 12 and Julie was given 6. I'm sorry. Todd was given 12 and I believe she was given 7 years. Julie was given 7 years in prison. Anyway, they were in prison. Their daughter, Savannah, took over taking care of the 2 youngest children. One of which was their granddaughter that they had adopted and received full custody of. Anyway, she has fought tirelessly. They have maintained their innocence. But Savannah has fought tirelessly. And then back on, when was this? When did this happen? The 27th of May, which would have been, what is today? The 6th? Let me look at my calendar here. This would have been last Tuesday. A week ago from this Tuesday. She got notification that President Donald Trump had pardoned both her mother and her father. And she immediately, when she got a phone call, she talks about, I can't remember, I seen an interview or whatever. She was out shopping or something, and her phone rang, and she picked it up and it said, "Please hold for the president." She's like, "Okay, I'll hold for the president." I mean, you get a phone call that says, "Hey, please hold for the president," yeah, you hold for the president, right? So anyway, so they got out, and what was this here? We got a little get off of that, get over here, get to this. Here we go. So we got a little Twitter thing from Breaking 911 Twitter account. Says President Trump calls it's Savannah, which is Savannah Chrisley, to inform her that he will be granting full pardons to her parents, Todd and Judy Chrisley, a former reality TV couple who were found guilty of bank fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy. We'll listen to. I'm not going to listen to all of this. I'm not going to put you guys through this, but we'll.
That's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing, but it's a great thing because your parents are going to be free and clean, and I hope we can do it by tomorrow. Is that okay? We'll try getting it done tomorrow. So
wonderful.
Give them. I don't know them, but give them my regards, and wish them a good life.
Mr. President.
Yes. How are you?
I just want to say thank you for bringing my parents back.
Yeah. Well, they were.
Anyway, an emotional little call there between. It sounded like it was Chase, which is their youngest biological son. Oh, I'm not. No, that's not. Chase is not their. Oh, Lord, they got too many dead young kids running around. But anyway, Grayson is their youngest biological. Chase is their Julie and Todd's biological kids. He's the oldest, and then Savannah, and then Grayson, and then, like I said, of course, they adopted their granddaughter, which was by Todd's son from a previous marriage. Anyway, it was a whole ordeal. I covered this back in the day. I covered this story. We covered it. We even covered Todd and his antics over on Clear as Mud back in the day. Because when I introduced this whole nonsense, whatever, to Banana. You guys remember Banana? Yeah, my buddy Banana. Anyway, he was just amazed. He was just amazed with this whole family. I don't know, but I doubt that the quote reality TV series that Chrisley Knows Best will fire back up. But in Savannah's recent podcast that she has, she talked about her mother and her father and stuff, about the whole situation. And she said, because Todd and Julie had a podcast that was very successful. And she said that that podcast would be starting back up, and they would be, doing that again. I look forward to that. I did enjoy their podcast. Well, what is that? It probably will. That show did numbers back then. Gigi, it's possible. You never say never when it comes to reality TV shows and stars and all that kind of stuff, right? Never say never, but I don't know. I would if it come back on what I watch it. Yeah, I probably would, because like I said, I just like. Matter of fact, I've got. Let me find here on my soundboard. Yeah, I've actually got some soundboard. I got one right now.
Because to be quite honest with you, nobody buys their fuckery.
Exactly, Todd. Nobody buys their fuckery. Exactly. But anyway, he got into a real big battle back in the day with what was her name? Joy Sparkles, without a crystal ball, I think it was her name, or whatever, something like that. We talked about it on Clear as Mud. I may have even talked about it a little bit here on this channel. I can't remember. I do remember that we talked about it. He was going at her. They were going back and forth because she was reporting on his family and this, that, whatever else. And he was looking at filing excuse me, he was looking and was talking to some other people that Joy Sparkles back in the day had had said things, this, that, whatever else. And he was actually looking at forming together about a.
I like beer.
Oh, looky there. Thank you for the membership.
I like
appreciate
beer.
that. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I like beer. I like beer.
All right, let's see who got it. Let's see.
I
JFA
like
got one.
beer.
Pretty Idiot got one. Caboodles got one. Nuclear Winter got one. And McMuffin got one. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Mittens. I appreciate that. Anyway, yeah, he was looking at doing like a class action lawsuit. A class action lawsuit with other people to go after him. How do I feel about the? I'll talk about that here in a minute, Wookie. So, they had a press conference and everything, of course. And let's see here. I want to kind of get to where Todd's talking here. Let's see. Okay. So let's listen to what. Where is my stupid thing? Here we go. So this is the press conference after Todd had been released. What is going on? Stop. And this is what Todd had to say during the press conference.
Todd Chrisley, after running from, the media in Nordstrom yesterday.
Good morning, guys.
Let's speed this up.
Thank you all very much for coming today, for having the interest. I want to thank first and foremost my Lord and Savior, because that's who got me through it. I want to thank President Trump. I want to thank the administration. I want to thank Alice Johnson. I want to thank every person that has prayed for us, that has stayed in the fight and that fought for the truth to come out. And so I am grateful for it. And as Savannah said, she has fought a long fight. And for any parent to see their child fight this hard, it's a double-edged sword. It's a blessing, and then your heart breaks because your child has been placed in that position to fight for you, when as a parent you're supposed to fight for your children.
So he talks, about Savannah and what all she did, through this entire. It's been, I guess, about almost a little over 2.5, 3 years, something like that. That he and his wife have been incarcerated. I think they actually were. They turned themselves in like January 1st, I think it was, or after New Year's of 2023. So I think they were incarcerated for a little over 2 years. And and were released. As Gigi brought up earlier in chat, Todd does go on to talk about how, even though he was in a federal prison and it was not, he goes, it was like a camp in a way, not so much it was a prison, but it wasn't quite as bad as like a lot of the prisons around the country. But even then, still, he said it wasn't pleasant. I'm sure it wasn't according to the lifestyle that he normally led. But he talked about in there how there was discrimination and how he was afforded certain things. And I don't think he really didn't. It was about with him, a celebrity status, but it was more about the color of his skin. And he goes on and talks about how there were black people in there who were incarcerated that were denied access to certain things and certain activities and stuff just because they were black, where he was allowed to do it because he was white. And he has sworn, made a statement that he is going to continue to fight for these individuals who are incarcerated, some unjustly, and those who are, I guess, justly, they do deserve to be in prison or whatever, to be treated fairly, and to be treated with equality. So he said that's one of the things that he definitely witnessed and wants to put a stop to. And so there's no doubt in my mind that what he's saying is factual and true. Um, and I hope that he is successful and bringing in some reform into our penal system. I mean, penal systems are one of those things that's like a necessary evil, right? We have to have them because we have people that do bad things. Sometimes they do it because they lose, they get mad or they lose their temper, or sometimes they're just evil people. But irrespective, we have to have prisons to incarcerate these people, to pay their debt to society. And but I don't think just because we have these institutions that we have to necessarily stop treating them as human beings. They're still human beings. They still deserve some dignity. They still deserve some respect, and they shouldn't just be tossed away and just thrown away like I don't know, a piece of garbage. I don't. So anyway, that's kind of what. On that deal. Now, who was it? Kind of moving along off the Todd Chrisley story. There was a announcement. Tax evasion, my hero. Yeah, that's what he was accused of, and embezzlement and some other things. He claims that was not true. I don't know. There's an announcement that in partnership with Hulu that they are relaunching King of the Hill. Who was it? Wookie. Yeah, Wookie brought this up. I've never sat down and watched every episode of King of the Hill. I've watched episodes here and there. Now both, I know my youngest son is a pretty big fan of King of the Hill. Matter of fact, he does a pretty good interpretation or impersonation, I guess you would say, of the voice of Hank Hill. He does a real good job with that. And I'm pretty sure my oldest son was a kind of a was a fan of it as well. But they announced that it was coming out, new episodes, and I think it's coming out like August. Was it like August the 4th or something like that? I think is when the new series starts over on Hulu. But then we got some more. The actor Jonathan Joss, who did the voice for John Red Crow. Is that right? Red Crow or Red Corn? What was it? So that tells you how much that tells you how much but anyway. I would leave the Jonathan Redcorn. So anyway, he was recently killed. You'd leave it alone? I'm not going to leave it alone. I'll talk about it. There's it's still muddy. Yeah, I know it's still muddy. The Jonathan's partner says that he was murdered by a neighbor. There's some other stuff that has come out saying that the actor was maybe acting a little bit out of character, shall we say. Um, so I don't know what all this is something irrespective. Um, we've had some of that's that life lost, and so I don't know if that character will be on the new series or not. I don't know. The trailer for the series has dropped. It was kind of weird. I don't know what all. I don't know what all. Um, yeah. Yeah, there's like I said, there's a lot of things that was going on. Yeah, okay, shut up. I don't care. Bit rate, whatever. It's fine. Okay. There were there were some there's some really weird circumstances around the actor and stuff. Their pet was murdered evidently, and by a neighbor was what was being reported. And then supposedly the person was hung the dog's skull. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff on this story. There really is. Um, but anyway, irrespective of, you know, the show lost a voice actor. Someone lost a loved one, and that's tragedy, and um, just hate to see anything like that happen. I don't know if there was actual homophobia that was going on or not. I don't know. It's being reported that there was, and if that was the case, then that condemned by all means, and um, so now a little something a little bit closer to home. Um, we had a convicted murderer that escaped from a prison and has got this huge manhunt going on in my community. I'm talking like my backyard type community here. This guy was so horrific and so what's the word I'm looking for? Just heinous. They had a documentary made about him. And if you are a subscriber to the HBO Max, whatever streaming service, there is a documentary on there called Devil in the Ozarks. That goes over this guy. It's an easy watch. It's like 45 minutes. This guy, his name is Grant Hardin, Hardin. Grant Hardin was a law enforcement officer and was convicted of a brutal rape and a murder. And the other day, he simply walked out of prison. He had constructed a clothing that mimicked the uniform of the prison guards attire that they wore. And he just walked out. He's gone. And they've been on manhunts looking for this guy. And what is making this challenging for them is here in this area where I live, we live in the foothills of the Ozarks. It is very mountainous terrain. Um, Very mountainous terrain, and it is there's limestone caves everywhere. Some of these caves are wet and some of them are dry because they're not active. And it's very plausible and easily that he could be one of these caves and be doing just fine. It is like I said, it is a very mountainous. Well, I tell you what. Let's just take. I've got a little video here. It's from ABC News. We'll watch. It's a little. We're not going to watch the full thing, but I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a view. This here, as you can see, this opening scene. This is what we're talking about. These hills and stuff here, right? This is the kind of countryside I live in, and I call it God's country. It's beautiful. I love the part of the state that I live in the foothills of the Ozarks. It's beautiful.
For its small towns and natural beauty. Now the subject of a more than week-long prison break manhunt, seemingly out of nowhere. Officials urgently searching for Grant.
That's him. That's the guy. This is the dude that that they're looking for that walked out. Just walked right out of prison.
Hardin, dubbed the devil in the Ozarks by some, a former Arkansas police chief, now an escaped convicted murderer and rapist, still on the run. The saga rattling small-town Arkansas and the nation.
A lot of people are there speculating, of course. Is he still here? Is he around here? If so, where is he?
But definitely taking the extra precautions and locking all my doors.
Not to say that I don't trust that they're doing everything they can. It's just he's obviously clever, and it's nerve-wracking.
It came on the heels of a recent New Orleans jailbreak.
So anyway, like I said, this guy just walks out of prison. That's literally what happened. And they've been hunting for him ever since. The guy is, when I watched the documentary on him, is that he, what state is this? What? If you're talking about what I'm talking about right now, which is the escape of this convict, is the state of Arkansas. Anyway, it's been going on for quite a while. I mean, the law enforcement. Here's what's they've set up roadblocks within just, I'll say, 10, 15 miles of my house. Within the last 2 weeks, they've set up 2 different ones where looking for him. They did it under the guise of a DUI check, which they never, ever have DUI checks like this. Never. And so they're doing these. Of course, they believe he's being assisted and helped. They've got the FBI and the U.S. Marshals. See, initially the FBI put out, I think they put like a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the arrest of a recapture arrest of this guy. And now I think the U.S. Marshals have now chipped in as well, and I think it's up to like $15,000 or $20,000 now, something like that. This guy is just really, he's something else. The guy that he murdered. Now this is how heinous this guy was. This guy was the police chief for this little old town. That is a little bit I don't know, like 10 or 15 miles, something like that, north of Rogers, Arkansas. He was the police chief up there, and he was also a constable. And there was another guy in the city, the little town there, was the head of the water department, and he had some beef, a little bit of dispute with this guy, and it wound up because the guy started acting really erratic shortly after he was made chief of police, and was threatening people. Allegedly, I guess I'd say allegedly was threatening people, and was like on a complete total power trip. And he was like basically believing he was untouchable, and he tried to use his position and power, whatever, to try to intimidate this guy that was like head of the water department or whatever. And the guy wouldn't back down from him. You know, he stood his ground. I wasn't going to be intimidated. And they had words, whatever. Anyway, the city council wound up terminating the chief of police because of his bully tactics and stuff that he was starting to demonstrate against these people. And one evening he told his wife and his daughter to get ready, that he was going to take them out to dinner. And he said, no rush. He goes, and whatever. He said, just, we'll go dinner here in a little bit. And then all of a sudden he got in his car and he just left. And the guy, the water department guy, I guess, had drove by his house and he saw him. And so he followed him, whatever. And so the guy pulled over the side of the road to make a phone call, and was talking on his phone or whatever to the mayor of the city, no less. I guess talking about a water line issue or whatever. And he pulled up beside him and with a shotgun and just shot him point blank dead. And there were witnesses to all of this. He then left and went back to his house, got his wife and daughter, took them to dinner. And when they came back, of course, he drove through where he had shot the dude. Of course, there's cops everywhere. They're still trying to, they're processing the scene and whatever else. And he just gets out, walks up to him and surrenders. Yeah, no big deal. Just surrenders to him. And, he was convicted and so on and so forth. So anyway, what else we got in chat here talking? I hope they find him too. People, are keeping their doors locked. They're scared. This guy, like I say, he's a convicted rapist, and murderer. And, the whole community. My state's pretty calm for the most part. We don't have a whole lot of, craziness like this, but, ever so often it happens, and, want to try to get things back to normal. So, anyway, let's talk about some good things. Let's talk about some positive things. What do you say? So, a teenager, I guess, crowned the Hull boy, ran the entire length of the UK to raise money for mental health. He ran a total of 837 miles and raised $150,000 in less than 2 months. The top donation so far comes from an anonymous donor who gave 20,000 pounds. So anyway, good on this young man. That's awesome that he ran the entire length of the United Kingdom to raise money. And there you see him there. He's running. They got a picture of him running. That's a good deal. That's positivity that I'm all here for, right? What's this, while facing torch of abuse online? Legend. I don't know about all that. If he did, that's but anyway, great. Good on this young man. That's a good deal, and I'm proud of him. I have one little palate cleanser for us this morning. And the question is what is the funniest thing you received in a care package? And of course, this was addressed to a serviceman, service person, someone in the military. And I don't know if this is real. I don't know if it's just one of those made up stories that, that people do, whatever, how they do this. But anyway, I found this funny.
What's the funniest thing you've received in a care package? Iraq, 2008. My grandmother had been sending me packages every month. Cookies, jerky, magazines, the usual stuff. But the August package was different. Way heavier than normal. I opened it in front of my entire squad. First layer looked normal. Cookies, some candy, a couple magazines. But underneath was something wrapped in about 10 layers of bubble wrap and duct tape. My grandmother wasn't taking any chances with whatever this was. I unwrapped it slowly. The guys were gathered around like it was Christmas morning. Finally got to the center and pulled out a full-sized ceramic garden gnome. Bright red hat, blue jacket, fishing pole in his hands. A card taped to his head read, "This is Gerald. He's your battle buddy now." The entire tent erupted in laughter, but it got better. My grandmother had included a 3-page typed letter explaining Gerald's mission. Apparently, she'd been watching too much news about soldiers getting PTSD and decided I needed a friendly face to keep me company and remind me of home. The letter had detailed instructions. Gerald needed to be positioned so he could keep watch over our area. She'd researched military tactics online and determined that a garden gnome would provide excellent camouflage in desert environments because the enemy would never suspect garden decor. My squad sergeant walked over to see what the commotion was about. Took one look at Gerald and just shook his head. "Well, I've seen soldiers bring teddy bears, but this is a first. What's his rank?" Without missing a beat, I said, "He's a specialist sergeant. Specializes in morale and perimeter security." "Fair enough. Find him a spot." So we did. Set Gerald up on a sandbag next to our bunker. Within hours, other soldiers were coming by to meet him. Word spread fast. Delta Company's got a garden gnome on security duty, but here's where it gets really funny. My grandmother had apparently coordinated with other family members. Over the next 2 months, care packages started arriving with accessories for Gerald. My aunt sent a tiny Kevlar helmet that actually fit him perfectly. My cousin shipped a miniature flak jacket. My uncle, a Vietnam vet, sent military patches to put on Gerald's jacket. Gerald became the unofficial mascot of our FOB. Soldiers would pose for pictures with him before patrols. New guys had to be introduced to Gerald as part of their orientation. The base photographer even included him in official unit photos. The best part came during a surprise inspection by a visiting colonel. This full bird walks into our area, stops dead in his tracks when he sees Gerald in full military gear standing guard. Doesn't say anything for a full 30 seconds, just stares. Finally asks, "Soldier, why is there a garden gnome in combat gear at your position?" My squad leader, completely serious, responds, "Sir, that's Specialist Gerald. He's been assigned to morale operations and perimeter observation. His grandmother wrote a letter confirming his deployment." The colonel actually read the letter. All 3 pages. Started chuckling halfway through. By the end, he was laughing so hard he had to sit down. "This is the best psychological operations brief I've read in 20 years, he said. "Gerald's doing important work here. Carry on." Gerald deployed with us for 15 months. Never missed a day of duty. Survived 2 mortar attacks and a sandstorm that lasted 3 days. When we rotated home, there was serious discussion about Gerald's next assignment. My grandmother solved the problem. She'd already ordered 6 more gnomes, 1 for each soldier in my squad. "Gerald's trained them well," her letter explained. "They're ready for deployment. Those gnomes are now scattered across military bases worldwide. I still get updates. Gerald Jr. is currently serving in Afghanistan. Gerald III just finished a tour in South Korea. Gerald IV is stationed in Germany, apparently learning the local customs. My grandmother passed away 2 years ago. At her funeral, 6 active duty soldiers showed up in dress blues, each carrying a garden gnome. We buried her with Gerald Sr., who'd earned an honorable retirement after completing his service. The funeral director had never seen a military honor guard that included garden gnomes. Neither had the other mourners. But my grandmother would have loved every minute of it. Sometimes the funniest care packages contain exactly what you need, even when you don't know you need it. And sometimes a ceramic garden gnome becomes the best soldier in your unit. What's the funniest thing you've received?
A garden gnome. Garden gnome. That's hilarious. If it's real, do you think Tommy would have hurt you served around the same? I don't know, Squatching. I don't know. Again, this is one of these deals where I don't know if it's real or not. If it's real, then it's a great little funny story. And I think it's awesome how family members can boost the morale of their loved ones that are overseas. Also, I'm quiet. What do you mean I'm quiet? I'm not quiet. You're quiet, Seth. How about that? Is that better? I'll blow your eardrums out. Oh, okay. Well, all right. According to my meters on my OBS, well, anyway, it doesn't matter, whatever. So I got one last little thing I'm going to show you guys. It's a little bit of a teaser. And all I can tell you is be on the lookout for Sunday, because there's a little something coming. A little something coming Sunday. There should be a link going up shortly about this. And, Overseas units have been known to pick up past by grandfather's unit picked up a dog as a mascot in China. Yeah. Yeah, units will. They'll pick up different things to have as a mascot or, things that doesn't anyway. What is Seth saying? Why are we watching this slob? Seth, always count on you. Always count on you. What's up, saying insensitive? No, it could very well be lunch to go. You're not necessarily out of the realm of possibilities there, Squatching. It's so anyway. Well, listen, guys, this was a little short impromptu stream this morning. Remember, check the pin comment up there if you do have a couple extra bucks laying around. If you haven't donated to the GoFundMe to help Bad Dog's family, and you're so inclined, and like I said, you got a couple extra bucks, kicking around. I'm sure I know his family would be appreciative of any help that you could. If you don't, that's okay too. I would, encourage you to send your positive thoughts. Did I say you could end the stream? You're trying to do housework. Well, Liana, I don't really have anything else left to talk about. You want to talk about? Okay, fine. You know what we'll do? Here's what we'll do. Let me just give me a second here. Then just give me a second here. All right. Let me find it, because there's a certain little somebody. There's a certain little
tonight on local.
Here it is. Let me get that. Okay, hang on here. Let me get into this here. Let me find where I want to. Where is it at? It's like around here somewhere or something, maybe. Let's see here. Let me find it here. Boom. Okay, I got it. Okay, so you want to talk a little bit more? We'll talk a little bit. Here we go. So I'll talk about something that, honestly and truthfully, I'm a little bit perplexed about this one. So last night, this cat Twiggy, I think his name is pulled into the Law Cow live stream. Get this up here with Keemstar and Rastoff and Boogie. And since Toxic evidently does no longer do the catch-up streams to kind of keep us all up to date on things, bad Toxic, bad boy. I don't know what his problem is. He's got adoring. No, he's not in Canada, Squatching. He is not. He is not. He has been back in the United States of Americas. He came back Monday. Okay. So I understand Monday, tired. Okay, fine. Tuesday, recruit, fine, got it. He's had Wednesday, he's had Thursday, and I guarantee you he won't do nothing today either. Because what Toxic does is exactly, he's a slacker. He lays around in the bed and he sleeps, and he orders pink drinks and roast beef sandwiches from Arby's. That's what Toxic does. And he has fans that want him to give us the rundown and and I can't. You know why? Because I don't know all the lores and I don't know all the stuff, but I like listening to what's wrong. Well, what's wrong? I don't know what's wrong with pink drinks, Liana. There might not be nothing wrong with pink drinks. Hell, I bought 2 of them and took one to Boogie and Miss Desi. Right? You have to try. Here's the problem where I don't think I would like it. Is it has coconut milk in it. And I cannot stand the flavor of coconut. I just do not like the flavor of coconut. I don't. So I don't. Now that's not to say that I would not like the drink. It might be okay, but it'd be like a deal. I'd have to get Mrs. Riv to agree to try it. And then I'd take like a drink of hers to see but I couldn't see buying like a whole one. Get a small one, share with Ms. Riv. Yeah. I could maybe do that one of these days. Yeah. Give it a try. We'll see. You don't like, well, see, my wife, the mighty Mrs. Riv, she has this cake occasionally that she'll make. It's like a pound cake, abundant cake. And it's got coconut milk in it. And it's one of the moistest pound cakes. And it's just so good. But she doesn't make it too often because it's it's one of them things that's high in, all the bad things that we shouldn't eat, like the sugars and stuff. So anyway, but so anyway, this little dude down here in the bottom right-hand corner, I think his name is Twiggy or Twigster or Twinkie or I don't know, something like that. Went on Aussie, I think it was. Calls in or whatever. Anyway, maybe he's a host of Aussie. I don't know. There's too many shows. There's too many people, and I don't know. And Toxic's not here. And by the way, did I mention screw Toxic because he's left us hanging in a lurch? Yeah. But anyway, he's back on Aussie now. Okay, thank you, Liana. At least somebody's there can help me stumble through this story. As we know, this little dude down here, this little wormy looking dude, he looks wormy. He just looks like anyway, he was at Fat Camp. And he rode down there with Wings and Kelly. Now, if you remember when Wings went after Keem, because him and Wings got into it, and Kelly tried to separate them, which was a bad mistake. She got shoved by Wings onto a table. And initially she said, no, I tripped. No, she didn't trip. She got shoved. And then Weasel Boy here comes out with a story about on the way down. And there was video evidently of it where I guess Wings got mad at Kelly driving or the way she was driving, whatever, and reached over and just slapped her arm, right? Really hard. Now he's come out with yet a second story to where while they were they stopped at a hotel, whatever, for the night on their trip going down to Fat Camp. And he's alleging, not me, but the story he is alleging is the next morning when they got up, Kelly comes up to him and asked him, was his bathtub really slick? And he says, no, why? She goes, well, I fell in the tub last night and I got this big bruise on my back. And so now they're speculating. Well, let's just listen to what they say. And I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth.
Twiggy, retell the story about what Kelly said to you at the hotel when you were at the pit stop on the way to Fat Camp.
So, it was
Your volume's low.
My volume's low. Give me one second.
Just talk into the mic and turn it up a tad.
Something just happened to my camera. All right. So, after the incident where he slapped Kelly's arm after she was honking the horn in traffic, that night we went to the hotel. Everything went normally after that. And then the next morning in the hotel, Kelly walks up to me and she asks me if my shower was slippery, and I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, my shower was super slippery, and I slipped and fell, and now I have
Nicholas
a big
super
bruise on my
chatted
back.
$20.
Worst timing ever,
Ring me
Nicholas.
and dude, you have this whole Elon Trump beef wrong. Trump is trying to create a surveillance state and increase the national debt.
Go ahead, Twiggy.
But yeah, so she said she had a bruise on her back, and at the time I was like weirded out by it, but I didn't really think much of it, so I just put it in the back of my head, kind of like the slap video. I didn't realize.
So the next morning, you're telling me Kelly comes up to you and says, "Hey, was your bathtub slippery? Because I slipped and fell, and now I have a big bruise on my back."
Yeah, it was. I don't remember. I don't remember if Wings was there while she said that, or if he was at the truck packing up luggage. So, because as I said, it was something I put in the back of my head, but I vividly remember her saying that because it was just so weird to me at the time. And then the
Good morning, Miss Taylor. How are you this morning? You're muted, Miss Taylor. You had to push. There you go.
I just changed the audio output.
Okay.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine.
So I have a story about lolcow that's unrelated to this, but
Okay.
if you want to keep going through this and then we'll talk about my story.
Okay. So I think that's pretty much it. The gist of the story has been told there. The thing that I find, I don't know what the word to use on this is when that whole thing happened down in Fat Camp. When law enforcement showed up, Keem lied.
Yeah.
To keep them from the police knowing the truth and protecting Wings.
Yeah.
And then the story comes out about Wings slapping Kelly's arm and all that other stuff. And then they say, well, he's got to go do anger management and all this other stuff. So, Wings does the $20 online management thing or whatever it was. It was kind of a joke, really.
Yeah.
And so, and now it's like and again, I don't know all the lore, I don't know all the history, but it seems like between when they got back from camp and everything like that, they were initially like, how do we bring him back? There's a time, but he's got to get some help, this, that, whatever. So I guess now have they basically completely turned their backs on Wings to where he's gone. And
I think they'll do anything for content.
Okay. So why is this little weaselly little dude here? Because this all happened back prior to even getting to Fat Camp. So now, why is he waiting now to drop this story about? And here's the thing: she could have fell in the bathtub. It is possible.
Those I don't know. It's a very common thing in North America. Those bathtubs with the showers. I recently just got Andy slip mats because I'm always slipping in them. So I believe her story. And it would hurt if you landed your back on that ceramic part on the edge. So just saying.
Sure, it is possible. It is 100% possible that she did slip and fall. But yes, the bathtubs that they're, because they're fiberglass, and most bathtubs they put in there, they're a fiberglass bathtub. And if they're not being, and it's at a hotel, and it's tight and as Wings is about spending money, I'm sure it wasn't like a 4-star hotel here. We're probably talking like Motel 6, leave a light on, Tom Baudet shit. So how good is that bathtub being cleaned? A lick and a promise, guys, is what I would say. So there's probably some soap scum that's built up. Maybe there could have even been some residue of the cleaning that wasn't scrubbed off good. Who knows? Right? Is it possible she slipped and fell? Yes. Is it possible that Wings, based upon other things that have that we know about, that there's proof of? Sure. Who knows? My question is why is this guy waiting? Was it now been 2-3 months now, whatever it is, since, Fat Camp, whatever? Why is he now bringing this out? Right?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
That's what Keemstar said, but
Yeah. Anyway, so what is your story that you have for us for Law Cow?
Okay, so I think it was not yesterday, the day before. Um, Becky was going crazy on Queens because, of course, Mike told Tina that they were firing Becky, and of course they're going to go along with it, and Becky's going to cry and carry
Sure.
on.
So
We all know it was scripted.
Normal stuff. Yep.
So people would like some of the hosts were jumping up in there because Becky was losing her shit.
Yeah.
And there's this new girl, her name's Popstar. She's this little African American 19-year-old girl, and she's all sassy and stuff like that. But she has no idea about the LOLCOW universe. Like, she has no idea. She didn't know who Wings was. She didn't know who Boogie was. So like,
so she's green. She's green. She has
she
no.
has no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I jokingly tell her, "Hey, Popstar, go into Queens," because she has the role. She can just jump in.
Yeah.
And she goes in there and she's like, Becky wouldn't let her talk. Tina wouldn't let her talk. It was kind of like I had secondhand embarrassment for her. But Becky was just going off at her. And then she spurged out. She kept jumping in and out, in and out, in and out. So
Oh my.
if you abuse your host role by jumping in and out of streams after you've been kicked,
Yeah.
you get your roles taken away. So she had her roles taken away, and then she left the server and got mad, and then she went on LOLCOW Live the next day and was spurging out at Boogie and stuff like that. So I just thought that I'd caused all this drama, so I was pretty proud of myself.
So hang on, because I saw some of this. I think Keem and them covered some of this last night because I was watching a little bit of LOLCOW while I was fixing supper.
She was saying, she's like, people were telling me to go into the stream. I'm like, I was literally the only one who told you to go into the stream. And I was joking. Like, I was the only one. She's like, people were telling me to go in, blah, blah, blah. And Xylee, I think she went on rewind later and she also spurged out there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't normally watch the shows. I know I get shit saying I don't normally watch it, but this was on last night while I was fixing dinner for me and the wife, and so I was listening to watch it, and Keem was showing this stuff, right, and about her, and she's like, who's Michael? Who? Why is he even here? You're nobody. And Michael's freaking like one of the channel owners for Queens with Keemstar. I'm like, this chick. I mean, look. I understand that they're pulling people left and right here and there, wherever, and they're trying to find because they have hosts that are getting canned and or quitting or whatever. So they're some of these other ones like Milkers and what was it, Nerds, and what's the other one? Madhouse got fired completely, and Test and all these. They have all these different. They're just moving all over. And now they've got dolls.
Yeah,
and so. I'm like, okay, that's fine, but I would think a prerequisite would be to have. You don't have to know. You don't have to have everybody's backstory from the day they start making content for it. That's unrealistic, I think, goal.
Yeah,
but you got to at least know who the people are on the different shows and what are their functions there and in what capacity they are. You can't go and say, well, who are you, Michael? And it's his flipping channel. You know, that's
insane.
And you did this. You claim fame that you got her to spurg out. Good job.
Everyone in the Discord was saying Leona caused this because she was spurging out in the Discord, yelling at one of the other interns, AMAC, who is my favorite. AMAC, I love you. If you ever come across this, I love you. You're the best. She was going off and she's like, people were telling me to call in. Blah, 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 blah. It's like, no one told you to call in except for me. And it was a joke.
Well, good on you. You gave them the prime type of content that they love. And the whole thing that they love is when these people just lose their shit. You know,
I love it.
I know I saw
except for Becky. I'm so sick of seeing Becky crying and screaming. It's getting boring.
Becky. Yeah, look, she's a one-trick pony. That's all she has is the spurging out, the crying.
Oh my God, people. Like, honestly, what do her neighbors think when she does this? It's like, what? 8 o'clock at night and she's screaming into her computer. I'm surprised the police haven't turned up.
Well, if
Like, I'm
she,
honestly surprised.
if she, okay, yeah. If she, I don't know what her living arrangements are. Like, I don't know if she owns her own home or if she's like in an
Yeah,
apartment or whatever.
she lives in a little house. I think if she's in an apartment, she'd be in a lot of trouble for doing
Yeah,
that.
the neighbors would definitely be raising hell, I'm sure. But if
Yeah.
she's living in a home, the chances are they probably don't even hear her outside of the home, maybe. And so,
Hopefully not.
yeah. Or you know what? Maybe they're just used to having the crazy bitch live next door because maybe she's always yelling and screaming. It may just be part of the, oh, what's that? Oh, that's just our crazy neighbor. She's losing her shit. She does it all the time. It's no big deal. So
It's not good for us living in an apartment because I couldn't believe it. But we were outside in the hallway with the kittens, and the neighbor came up to us who lives we live kind of next to the garbage chute.
Yeah.
And there's a stairwell in between us, and then there's the next apartment. And the neighbor comes up to us and she's like, "Oh, you're yelling at 2 a.m. because Andy's doing a show or whatever."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "How is this happening?" Because
yeah.
like we went into the stairwell and Andy started yelling and we were testing it. And it must be going through the vents.
It's possible. Yeah.
But I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, oh, fuck them. Who cares? But I would be annoyed too if I was in their position.
Sure.
But it's if it's the apartment's fault, like the bad ventilation or whatever, how can we stop it? Like he does try to be quiet after 12 a.m., but
Sure.
maybe they should move.
Does Andy have any like sound dampening stuff in his in the room where he records or streams from?
We do. We just haven't put it up yet. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, well, if you put some of that stuff up, that would absorb, and that might help a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Yeah.
Because they secretly hate us. The husband's really nice, but apparently they've complained to security about us. But I'm like, well, they
Yeah.
haven't spoken to us.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the laws are in Canada, but I know like here in the States, you can be evicted if you get too many noise complaints. So might want to work on getting those that sound dampening stuff up.
He's tried to not yell as much, so I think it's been better. So.
Yeah, just make sure and keep his coffee good and hot, popping hot for him, and he'll be just fine. Keep that.
Well, because I'm not in the chat anymore.
Yeah.
For reasons, I can't get his attention for the coffee, so I make him a coffee, and then it sits there for an hour, and I get mad, and I tweet at him. I try to message him and he doesn't look at his phone. So as soon as I tweet it, he sees it.
So is there a way for you, because I don't know how a studio and stuff is laid out, but is there a way for you to bring the coffee without being on camera?
I could, but it would be it would be a distraction.
Yeah, I get you.
We have a little table outside the door that I just leave the coffee on.
Yeah. Okay, cool enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I just saw your tweet the other day, whatever, and you said his coffee was felted.
Yeah, because I was sitting there for half an hour. I get so mad.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, listen, thank you for sharing that little tidbit about being the root of, what was this chick's name again? Pup Cup or something like that?
Pup Cup, yeah. Everyone calls her Pup Cup.
Yeah, like you take your little dogs and stuff into the like the different restaurant or whatever drive-throughs, and you get them a Pup Cup. Yeah, the first time I ever heard that was my youngest has a dog. Her name is Bella, and she's a mess. But he was talking about he would take her through the drive-through and get her a Pup Cup, and he was telling me and his mom about this. I said, "The hell's a Pup Cup?" He said, "Well," he said, they put it like in a little paper bowl or whatever, little paper cup thing, and it's just whipped cream. It's just a little whipped cream, and so my youngest is a dog. No, he's not, Seth. Not compared to you. He's an angel. He's an absolute just angel compared to you. So there's that. So yeah, that's what a Pup Cup is. K-Huck. It's just a little thing of whipped cream that they put into
Yeah, and usually it's free with your purchase.
Yeah, yeah. And so I every once in a while I ask him, I said, what did you eat? Because he'll say he was going whatever I said, what did you take Bella with her to get a pup cup? He goes, no. Because he used to do that when she was like a little pup and was actual little bitty thing. Now she's fully grown. I think she weighs like maybe 60, 70 pounds. She's just a big dog. And he's like, no, she didn't need no pup cup. She's had enough. And I said, okay, well, whatever. Well, listen, thanks again for calling in and sharing that and letting us know that you're the root of her destruction. And
No problem.
you just keep on doing what Liana does best. So
I will. I'll
all
talk
right.
to you later.
All right, take care, hon.
Bye.
Bye. And that was Liana, guys, and the destroyer of careers, right? And just remember, if she brings you a coffee, by God, you better get right on it. If not, she will tweet out about it and embarrass you in front of the whole world. So, anyway. Well, listen, guys, thanks for tuning in. Listen, I don't want to brigade, and I don't consider that whatever, but let's encourage Toxic today on Twitter. Let's send him a little message. Let's encourage him to give us some rewind, because I feel like there's a lot more than what little tidbit I covered that's going on that we need to be brought up to date on. And I rely on, because when he comes on while I'm working, I put that on, I listen to it in the background while I work. And so it helps my day pass. And when Toxic doesn't do that, I don't have that to listen to, that it kind of makes the day go on longer. And this is Friday, and we need this day to go along smoothly and quickly. So Toxic, we're counting on you, man. We're counting on you. And on that note, again, thank you, Mittens, for the 5 gifted. I appreciate it. Don't forget about Bad Dog's family. Like I say again, pin comment. If you have a couple extra bucks, and you haven't donated, and you can donate, and it's not going to put you in any type of financial burden or whatever, send a couple of bucks to help them lay the guy to rest. Like I said, I wish all of his friends and his family the best, and the best condolences I can give them. And I hope that they receive some mercy during this time, and some grace. But anyway, you guys take care. Have a good day, and be on the lookout for Sunday. Word is that there's going to be a stream happen Sunday, and like I say, just check it out, and watch Twitter for announcements on that. You guys have a good one. I love your faces and all that good stuff. And remember, guys, keep your powder dry, and I'll see you in the funny papers.